This is number 9. Number 9 from practice 6-2B. And this one is ugly. Okay? So I'm betting you're probably watching this one because this is a really tough one. What I would do with this one, normally I would say, well, let's clear out some fractions. But the problem with clearing out the fractions is it's going to put numbers in front of all of my variables. And I need one of my variables to be by itself, so that's not going to work. The other option would be to convert them to decimals, but 1/3 does not make a nice decimal, so that's not going to work. So I'm going to kind of combine a couple of methods. I'm going to stick it out with the fractions for a little while, okay? I'm going to get it to the point where it's all combined into one equation, and once it's all in one equation, we're going to review clearing the fractions from back in chapter 1. So I'm going to start the way I started every other problem. I'm going to get one of the variables by itself, and for me, I would probably target this y right here, because I can do that just by moving this 1/4 x to the other side. Okay, so now my equation is going to say y equals 10 minus 1/4 x. And that's the piece, that y is equal to, that I'm going to go up here and plug in place of y. Okay? Leaving that 1/3 out front. So that's going to look like this. If I'm rewriting that top equation, 1/2 x plus 1/3, and then parentheses 10 minus 1/4 x equals 5. Okay, I'm going to give it one more second with the fractions. I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 1/3. 1/3 times 10, that's really 1 times 10 divided by 3. I would not make that a decimal though, because it's going to be an ugly decimal. I would just simply write it as 10 over 3. Because 1 times 10 is 10, and 10 over 3, that doesn't divide, so leave it as 10/3. And then when you go to do 1/3 times 1/4, remember when you're multiplying fractions, you're doing top times the top and bottom times the bottom. So this is really going to give me a negative, because this is negative. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 4 is 12. So negative 1/12 x equals 5. Okay, now I'm going to stop there, okay, because I am done with these fractions. I want to clear these fractions out, and so to do that I'm going to look at all of my denominators, and I need one number that all 3 of those numbers go into. Okay, can you think of it? I'm thinking 12. All 3 of these go into 12. It's not what do these go into, it is what do these go into. They all go into 12, okay? So I'm going to multiply everything in the equation, including that 5 down at the end, by 12. Okay? So, put it here. I'm multiplying by 12 on both sides is really what I want you to see. So when I go to do this, this is 12 times 1 divided by 2. That's really 12 over 2, which is 6. So this is now 6x plus 12 times 10 is 120, and 120 over 3 is 40, minus 12 times 1 is 12, and 12 over 12 is 1x. And then just don't forget to do it to the 5 down here too. 12 times 5 is 60. Okay, that is a much nicer equation to solve. So I waited for a couple of minutes until I got to a point where I had my equations combined. Now I'm clearing out the fractions. Now I can say 6x minus 1x, because they're on the same side of the equals, is 5x. So 5x plus 40 equals 60. Take away the 40. So 5x equals 20. Divide by 5. X equals 4. Good. Okay. Now I want to go back and solve for y. And to do that, I want to look for an equation that is already solved for y, an equation that says y equals. And I see that right here. So I'm going to put this 4 back in up here, and I'm not going to let those fractions scare me. So y equals 10 minus 1/4 times 4. Hopefully you know what 1/4 of 4 is. But if you don't, that's really saying 1 times 4 divided by 4. So this is really 4 divided by 4, which is 1. So this is 10 minus 1, which means y is equal to 9. And then as your coordinate, you would write 4, comma, 9. And that's it for you today.